What's the craziest or most fun story that we don't see on social? We see the clips and we got the nuggets, but there was a lot going on in that interaction. Is there a really fun or crazy story?
Yeah, I think there's two that come to mind. The first, ever really like big interview that we did, and there's also a lesson here that I really like is we're about like a year and I think it's 2022. It's at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. If you're not familiar with South by Southwest, it's one of the biggest business, tech, music festivals that happens every year in Austin, Texas, and there's like 400,000 attendees. And like I said, we're about a year in. At the time, the channel had maybe 100,000 followers, and I'm walking down the street with my brother because before we even had like a videographer and had a team, it was like the three of us that were video interview, and that was kind of like the roles that we had at the time. It was just content at the beginning. And Mark Cuban had just finished up speaking at an event at South by Southwest, and he's just kind of like in the open, about to like get an Uber, and so my brother like kind of points him out to me. And he goes, "James, like there's Mark Cuban," and we hesitate for a second. We're like, what if he says no? What if he says no? And then but we ultimately, and this is I think a very powerful lesson here, is that if you think the price of winning is too high, wait until you get the bill of regret. I think that like that is the absolute worst thing in the world. The worst thing that somebody can tell you is no. And so, I've been rejected thousands of times trying to go up and get interviews with people in the streets and do that. And you get to a point where you just can't let it faze you. And so, we made the decision to go up to Mark Cuban and ask him to do an interview, and we ended up getting him to do it. Kind of gave him our pitch. Hey, we started this channel at the University of Texas. We're just trying to get advice for the younger generation, and we got him to do an interview with us. And I've been to this day still leverage that credibility if I'm reaching out to people or need it to objection handle if I'm still doing stuff on the street and whatnot. So I think that was a really good one. Take the risk or lose the chance. Take the risk or lose the chance. I love how you brought up the proximity principle. There's this I think there's a book on it. I haven't read it yet, but it's like this, like the third door policy, where like if you go to a nightclub and there's somebody like really important in that club that you need to talk to, but you go up to the front and they're like, private event, you're not getting in, okay? But then you go find the side door and they're still like, dude, you're not getting in here. You better find the third door in, whether it's a window or a back, like whatever it may be. Like you always have to find the third door in to go in, whether it's meet that person, go, connect with a certain individual or whatever it may be. And I think that that's always something that we've done really, really well. It's like we've gotten people in places and rooms that we weren't supposed to be in, but sometimes you just kind of have to find a way to do that. And it's like we just interviewed Sarah Blakely, the youngest self-made female billionaire in the world. And she talks about how when she got her product, her Spanx and Neiman Marcus, they put her in this like kind of back room, away from everything else and like the sleepiest part of the store. And she went and bought bins at Office Depot and put them at everything. And because it was like all around, everybody thought that it was normal. And then they ended up selling like crazy. Yeah. So even though she wasn't supposed to do that, that's right. It's kind of, sometimes you just kind of have to do some of those things to get you.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
That's it right there.
I think that goes a long way. Of the well-known people that you've interviewed, who strikes you as maybe the most insightful?
From a celebrity standpoint, I actually really, really liked Will Smith. I thought, and he had incredible energy as well. I liked Will Smith a lot. I thought John Morgan, the billionaire lawyer out of Orlando, was also an awesome interview. Mike Rapoli, founder of Body Armor, he sold Smart Water, Vitamin Water, Body Armor for a total of $12 billion to Coca-Cola. I thought he had an incredible interview. But I tell people this, I think the best interviews that I've ever done came from the people that nobody would have no idea who they actually are.
Not surprised.
And that's not to take away from, like a lot of the known billionaires or like the known celebrities that I interview. I just think that, there's a lot of people out there that have incredible stories to tell. And, we've been able to kind of uncover some of those. And so I've gotten some of the most like fascinating, like nuggets of wisdom out of some of those conversations that have like really stuck with me.
Hey, if you enjoyed this highlight, click here for the full conversation.